Fox News political analyst, David Mercer, the president of Mercer and Associates. Welcome to both of you.
Hi,
Pleasure
Jamie.
to be with you, Jamie.
Both sides represented today. David, you first, because we expect to hear from Democratic leadership shortly. Tell me, what will we hear, you think?
Well, I think that they'll be sticking to the message that they've been united on, and which the president has laid out several times, which is that we need to reopen government. We shouldn't have been here in the first place, and that it's while we've been talking, it's now time for action, and action, quite frankly, that could have taken place, back in the spring when the speaker, instead of accepting the request, 19 of them, to have a conference on the budgets passed in the House and Senate, refused to do so. So we now come up across this deadline that may be very costly to the American people. And I think that action needs to be taken. And that's what you'll hear from the Democrats in response to proposals that have been put forth.
A temporary shutdown is one thing, but a default is something else. It has global implications, really, in terms of where we stand in the world financially. I want to ask you, Angela, because one of the things the president has insisted is we have to pay the bills for expenses we've already incurred.
Right.
Were they part of a previous budget? Because they must have happened under his watch. He's been there now. This is his second term. Where did those expenses come from that would help us understand how we got this? I'm not joking. I'm just really curious. How did we get to where we are now that we owe all this money?
Because we have a president that believes that we can spend ourselves out of a recession. A lot of his policies that the Democrat Congress passed have failed us, Jamie, and it's cost a lot. We've had government grow, food stamps. I can go down the list of socialized programs that this president has put forth. Having said that, though, in 2011, President Obama went on a Midwest bus tour, Jamie, saying that we needed to stop the government spending and do entitlement reform. Well, now Paul, Ron, and others are giving him proposals on entitlement reform, but he doesn't want to listen to that now. This is Groundhog Day all over again. When the president went on his Midwest bus tour, he was the one talking about cutting the deficit, and now we're not doing anything about it.
David, what's at stake for this president for every day that goes on that our government remains shut down and that we inch closer to the day where we could actually default?
Well, I think the stakes are very high for everybody, including the president, and the stakes are incredibly high for the American people. We can't afford to set back the progress we've made in getting out of the recession by putting us back into a possible recession. Higher interest rates, increased cost. As we know, it's costing billions of dollars to be even in a shutdown. And if I might clarify to your earlier question to Angela regarding the deficit or the debt.
Yes.
Congress has control of the purse strings.
Yes.
And it's Congress who went ahead with the spending and is now refusing to pay the bill that it agreed to pay earlier. That is the problem,
David,
and that's why
Angela,
Congress needs to stand by the full
Angela,
faith and credit of the United States to pay the bills that it itself has authorized already.
This comes up again and again, David, where people are saying that Republicans are responsible for this. So let me ask you first, David, and then Angela, please respond. Sure. David, what's in it for Republicans to be adamant against coming up with a resolution? What is in it for them? Why would they do that?
It's a very good question, and the answer lies in the most recent Wall Street Journal NBC poll, which shows that the favorability rating of the GOP, the party itself, is at an all-time low since they've been tracking this.
So they would do something that would make them look worse? I mean, it's not making sense to me and a lot of Americans. Why would they do something that would make them look worse?
Exactly.
Angela?
And to be clear about it, raising the debt ceiling does not add one dime to the deficit. It only says that we will pay for what we already authorized for spending. So for your audience and for clarification, it doesn't add one dime to the debt.
Excuse me, David.
Right?
Excuse me. On the debt ceiling, Republicans understand the math, okay?
Yes.
We're talking about the government shutdown and spending cuts, I think, as well.
Right.
But, Angela, why is it that Democrats argue that Republicans are doing this intentionally? What do they have to gain by not coming up? They'll be heroes if they come up with a solution that works, and they have made several proposals. What's wrong
Jamie,
with those?
It's all in the messaging. Listen, the president is a Democrat. He has the bully pulpit. So people are going to follow his storyline. Democrats are lock in step with their talking points. And Republicans do not want to hurt this country. Republicans are patriots, and they do want to create a better America. However, utilizing Obamacare, defunding Obamacare, or tying Obamacare to the government shutdown, I've said from day one, you should not do. Let it fall through. Let the process actually work. So to answer your question, the reason why the poll numbers, David, for Republicans have gone down, you liberals are very good with your talking points on demonizing Republicans. And unfortunately, Jamie, we're standing on right. But the bottom line is, if the president and Congress don't come to some conclusion to reopen the government and to raise the debt ceiling, the world markets will be hurt and more American citizens will be hurt.
Just in closing, and thank you both, with respect to both parties, I think it's in everyone's interest to try to come to a resolution, David. Thank you for your comments
I agree with
as well.
you.
Okay,
Thanks.
guys.
Thank
Great
you.
to see
Bye.
both of you. We'll see you.